Bitter criticism Saturday. Hopefully I'm going to fix my scooter today. My scooter, I have zero scooter by this time. I have a bunch of a pile of pieces and no scooter, which is fine because I'm running now, you know. I'm training for the next race, figuring out, facing my age, facing my aging process. I'm not as, I guess I will never be a champion anymore. Maybe in categories, you know, maybe a senior champion. So keep jockey, watch out. Watch out, keep jockey. I will defeat you at the age of 150. Because keep jockey will be dead, and will still running 150 years running. Who knows what's going to happen? What I know for sure is that there's no World War III. There was a false alarm. Everything is fine. Almost everything is fine. Let's read some news from, I don't remember by now. The genocide dossier, yeah, I have to read. It's been a long time. I don't like to read this bloodshed, this blood pool, this swimming pool, this blood pool, this genocide. It's so sad, you know. But here we go. And look, I have these flags over here. I knew that this will happen. I knew that this will be the end of this century. Friends forever and never be enemies. Wang Ji. Wang Ji, do you remember Wang Ji? I'm forever friend of Wang Ji and never enemy. So we're going to do a pajama party with Wang Ji. Girls' night, yeah, just girls' night. Of course, I'm just kidding. I wonder when China and Russia will be enemies. Maybe in 50 years, but not forever. That's my point. Not forever. There's a lot of a sun here. Son of a bitch. Look. Iran says constructive talks with US in Oman over to continue next week. Iran with the US. This is what Pepe Escobar is saying about the nuclear capabilities of Iran, the nuclear threat by Iran. Yeah, both things are interesting, but I strongly recommend you Pepe Escobar coverage. He's covering this. I guess Pepe Escobar is never wrong. He's always right about the hot topics. Live updates. This is about the genocide in Gaza, the Israeli genocide. There's a video. I'm not going to listen to the video now. Live updates. Israel completely encircles Rafah, cutting it off from the rest of Gaza. Rafah, huh? The army says that it completed the so-called Morag corridor, claiming the city as part of its quote-unquote security zone. By Niels Adler, Edna Mohammed, April 12. And there's a summary of 5 points. 4 says the Israeli army has completely encircled Rafah in southern Gaza, cutting the city off from the rest of the strip, claiming it as part of its quote-unquote security zone. What people say, almost everybody knows, I guess, is Israel is supposedly evacuating and calling for refugees to come back to get to the Gaza Strip, and then Israel bombed the refugees after the so-called the presumed apocalypse, the presumed help. So terrible dirty tricks by Israel. They are bombing allegedly refugees they themselves call from security, understand? Anyway, a UN humanitarian official told Al Jazeera that Israel's attacks on water systems in Gaza, hey, they don't have water system, just like right here in Playa Ancha. We don't have a good water system. And its blocking of repairs have led to absolutely catastrophic conditions for Palestinians. Third, analysis by the United Nations reveals only Palestinian women and children were killed in at least 36 Israeli strikes on Gaza between March 18 and April 9. This is a genocide, killing women and children. And second, this is absolute defeat against Palestinians, you know? We have to say this. I guess Hamas was wrong in the military point of view. It was absolutely wrong. Gaza's health ministry says at least 50,912 Palestinians are confirmed dead and 115,981 wounded in Israelis war on Gaza. The government media office updated its death toll to more than 61,700, saying thousands of people missing under the rubble are presumed dead. At least 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the Hamas-led October 7, 2023 attacks, and more than 200 were taken captive. 8 minutes ago. Lobo! 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 I have a new dog, look. It's not mine. I'm taking care of this dog right here. Oh, he has a bone. What about a bone? Where did the dog take this bone from? Looks like an old bone. And April 12th. Lobo, venga. He's a mixed dog, of course. Zero pedigree, but he's kind of graceful. Yeah. He kind of have a talent. Oh, I missed a photograph there. Anda. Allá. Anda. Allá. Allá, mira. Mira. Oye. Well, there's some photos there. Let's keep reading. The genocide this year. Number of Palestinian women held in Israeli jails rises to 29. What? 29? But this number is ridiculous. The number of women are kind of 100 tera women. The Palestinian Prisoners Affairs Commission says the number of female prisoners in Israeli jails has risen to 29. Most of those arrested were for what Israel claims was quote-unquote incitement, it added. In January, prisoner captive swap Israeli freed 69 women, another 21 boys, some as young as 12, were also released in the occupied West Bank and Jerusalem. Among them was Khalida Jarrad, 62 years old, is a old woman, a leading member of the left-wing Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, who had been held for 6 months in solidarity confinement under quote-unquote administrative detention, which allows Israeli authorities to jail suspects indefinitely without charge or court verdict. Administrative detention. Forever administrative detention. What about that? April 12th, Palestinian line up for a hot meal amid food shortages. I'm going to Palestine to eat something. I guess they are not paying. Palestinians line up for a hot meal amid food shortages. There's a new live update. I'm going to read this first. A minute ago, clashes erupt in northern occupied West Bank. Clashes have erupted between Palestinians and Israeli forces following a raid on the town of Beit Furik, east of Nablus. Israeli incursions in the occupied West Bank have intensified since its war on Gaza began on October 7, 2023, with more than 10,000 detained in the past 18 months. While global attention remains fixed on the Gaza assault, Israel is rapidly redrawing the map of the occupied West Bank. At least 40,000 people have been forcibly displaced since January. There's a photograph, a video in the occupied West Bank. Israel's military campaign targeting refugee camps continues. Its dismantling camps in Jenin and Tulkarem. 16 minutes ago, I just read that. Now the photographs. Well, there's Palestinians in the Nuseirat region who are struggling with hunger due to Israeli attacks on Gaza and the closed borders. Wait with pots and pans to receive hot meals distributed with charitable organizations in Deir el-Bala, Gaza. And that's it. There's a lot of people eating, chicken some soup. It looks fine. 1 hour ago, that's it. If you are just joining us, here's what you need to know. First, 6 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip, including a strike on a tent in Israel's designated Al-Mawasi, quote-unquote, humanitarian zone in southern Gaza. Second, the Israeli military says the country's army has seized what it calls the quote-unquote Mora Corridor, a route in southern Gaza that cuts off Rafah from the rest of the Strip. Third, the Israeli Army's Arabic language spokesperson has ordered residents of several neighborhoods in Khan Yunis to leave, warning of an imminent attack, quote-unquote, with great force. And the last one, Hamas says it fired 3 rockets from the Gaza Strip towards Israeli territory, while the Israeli military says its Air Force interpret the rockets and that they caused no casualties. I'm going to read this very last one. Yeah, this is the summary right now. 1 hour ago, what's happening in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem? Question mark. In tandem with the near constant bombardment of Gaza, Israeli forces are continuing violent raids across the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. Here are some of the reports coming in. First, Israeli forces have stormed the town of Sebastia Nablus in the northern occupied West Bank. The Israeli military has stormed the occupied West Bank town of Burkin, west of Jenin, and the village of Burka, northwest of Nablus. Third, the Israeli siege of Tulkarem has now entered its 75th day, and its siege of the Nur Shams camp is now in its 63rd day. Israeli forces have stormed the Kwalandija refugee camp north of occupied East Jerusalem. The Wafa news agency, quoting local security sources, reports that a Palestinian teenager was shot by Israeli forces during a military raid on the town of Beit Fajar, south of Bethlehem in the occupied West Bank last night. And that's it. That's it by now. This is just a lot of well, I let me tell you, there's mistakes all over the place, mistakes everywhere. But I still support in Palestine because they are completely innocent. They were completely innocent at the beginning, you know. They were just living their poor lives in global south, living their lives, and just like that, one terrible day, they were occupied by Israel, by the Zionists.